And welcome back, TK Pod. First in 2 weeks. Sorry about that. Wanted to make sure that it was official. I don't necessarily think it's official until they send me the email, but your boy is going to be moving on to semifinals, and that is the main story today. For today's podcast, we are going to talk a little bit about last week or the end of last week, which was the final week of the CrossFit Open, where I ranked, the thoughts going into the week of the rumors of the workout that was going to come out and the movements and how that all looked, especially after week 2 and how that went for me. Talk about all that. We'll talk about my first attempt to my second attempt. We'll talk about, now that unofficially I have qualified for the next level. Big yawn. Big yawn there. Qualified for the next level. What that means, I mean, being a semifinals athlete, quasi, I wouldn't call it, it's not super official, but technically the way that the structure is this year, that is the case. And then, looking ahead to semifinals, what that's going to look like, what I'm doing over the next 6 weeks and beyond. Also, talk about one of my nerdy hobbies that we've gotten back into, which is not disc golf, and then also disc golf update as it's finally starting to level off in weather around Iowa, and what that means for the disc golfer, the competitive disc golfer, Tyler Kluber. So, week 3, the Open, we all listened 2 weeks ago to me talk about how I did get smacked in the face with week 2 of the Open. And, week 1, we balled out, had a home run hit, got, top 300 in the world, set our, ugh, another yawn, holy shit. Set ourselves up great for the following 2 weeks, really, reshifted our entire focus, our entire approach to the CrossFit Open this year. We were just trying to have fun, display our fitness, do our best. With the new 1% rule and the history of sort of how the Open works and enrollment and where I had placed previously, all those factors, it looked like it was very likely that in the Open format, I was not going to be able to get in the top 1%. I've only done it one time. It was when the top 1% was a much bigger relative size. It was almost twice the size. And it was because there was specifically a lift that was good for me that vaulted me up the leaderboard. That was 2 years ago in 2023. Otherwise, 2021, 21? I guess maybe 22 and 24, which are the other 2 seasons outside of this year. So this would be my 4th competitive year, trying to make a semifinal. I was not in the top 1%. Therefore, I would not have qualified for the next stage. We come out, we hit that first workout, top 300 in the world, and everything changes. So anxiety and tenseness and pressure went through the roof for the middle 2 weeks, and it only got exacerbated when week 2 came out, and I was only able to get 1 run in at it, and it wasn't a very good run. It was a edge of top 2% kind of performance on the individual workout, which isn't the end of the world, obviously. But it eliminated a lot of the room for error that I'd created for myself in week 1. And that weekend was awful, to be honest. Bad headspace. All I could think about all weekend was the workout. I did it 3 times from Friday afternoon or Friday morning through Monday at lunchtime. And for basically 3 Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Yeah. A little over 72 hours, I was almost completely consumed in this one workout. Which that workout, thrusters, muscle ups, pull ups, double unders, those movements will now inform a lot of my training over the next year moving forward if I continue to do this. Nonetheless, put ourselves in a decent position. We're sitting right outside the top 1,000 after week 2, and we had to hold on to that top 1,200 to make it into the official top 1% after 3 weeks. Felt pretty good about it. knowing that the week 2 was likely going to be my worst relative workout and running the numbers, I basically had to just make sure that I didn't do worse on that individual workout score for week 3, and I was probably gonna get in. A lot of rumors going into week 3. I don't know who leaked it or who didn't, but there started to be talks amongst the community of, "Oh, here's the workout." There's several different versions. The movements, the exact version was never really released, but the movements were, um, wall walks, rowing, and some barbell stuff. Deadlifts, then cleans, then snatches. I like rowing. We've talked about the rowing program that I'm sort of in the middle in slash have put on pause slash might have to restart as far as where we're at right now. But great at rowing, and wall walks aren't horrible for me, especially when you break them up into sets of 5. And then, you look at the other stuff. It generally, when a barbell shows up, I'm going to be excited about that, right? Versus other people, I'm going to be able to move weight. A lot of discussion on the recap podcast around the ecosystem of CrossFit after week 3 that we really didn't touch strength in this open, which was a detriment to me, to be honest. I'm the strongest I've ever been, and that was already sort of one of the shades of what I was good at relative to the community. 225 dead, 135 clean, 95-pound snatches. It wasn't heavy and it wasn't a strength test. So, still good because if you can move heavyweight, means you can move lighter weight faster or without as much rest. So we felt good about it. Felt way better than week 2 with a lot of the pulling gymnastics. Went into Friday morning, got to do the workout next to Cole Fisher, who is the training partner, probably my most consistent training partner. And he gave me a great push. Even went out hot early, which was kind of what I needed to stay, kind of feel like I had to stay with him. He kind of tapered off. I did end up beating him by a minute and a half or so, 2 minutes on the first round, on the first go. Um, Initially thought after watching the absolute elite of the elite do this workout, Pepper, Hopper, and Sprague, who are the 3 pros that did this on the announcement, I thought maybe sub 12 will be a good time. Those guys went sub 10 all the way down to like 920, 930, 940 range. Um, so my initial, like a really good time pushing elite would be sub 12. That was true. However, the spread was decently big. I ended up 750th in the world in this workout, or 700. Well, we'll just pull it up. 700 and 12th in the world on this workout, and that was with a time of 12:40. Now that 12:40 came on my second attempt that I did at my house on Sunday morning, right before I went off to a short little getaway to Kansas City vacation with the fam. My first run was 32 seconds slower at 13:12, and so as I got to the gym, you let the announcement sink in. You kind of see a few scores come in. A couple people who are pretty fit will just run it right out the gate and give you a general time. My thoughts were somewhere between 12 and 13 was going to be a good score, definitely good enough to get me in. And then we ran it and we were 13:12. We were a little soft in some areas. I knew this is one of those, without going into the details of it, where if you just if you just agree with yourself to just hurt, but you just go, um, you're not gonna fail a 225 deadlift. You're not gonna fail a 135 clean. You're not gonna fail a 95-pound snatch, at least for where we're at in our fitness journey here. Um, you can you can get on the rower faster and start pulling faster. You can do another wall walk even though it hurts. You're not going to fail it. So it was a workout of 12 to 13 minutes of just you have to move. You cannot sit around and feel sorry for yourself 10 or 12 times for 2 to 3 seconds, because that adds up to 25, 30, 35 seconds. And that's exactly how the improvement happened, essentially going from 13:12 to 12:40. I was just tougher. I didn't really go faster in any of the movements. I took less rest between them. And that's basically that's a lot of CrossFit in general. So The rowing certainly helped. Having a barbell helped. We weren't nearly in the realm of week 2. Finishes for this year's Open officially were 310th in the world on the first one, 2,334th in the world on the second one, and then back down to 712th for the last one. So 2 top 700 finishes basically, with one outlier finish of, you know, up around 2,300, 2,400. Gives us a lot of information. Also gave us a lot less stress in that last week. Knowing that I got the 1240, I was basically I was teetering on like taking my shoes and my belt to Kansas City with me and like having to go in and last minute third attempt this workout if I needed to. But after I got that 1240, I knew that was going to play. I think I was somewhere up in the 2 to 300 range Sunday, knowing that that would eventually drop to the, this range of 6, 700, but knew that I was up there enough where we weren't going to have to like do the workout during our vacation in Kansas City, which was nice, and I'm sure my wife appreciated. And that's pretty much it. So, a 300, a 700, and a 2,300 total lands me at 3,300 points, 3,356. Good enough for, drum roll please, 820th in the world. 820th in the world. That is my best ever open placement. Again, there was 120,000 people that signed up for this thing. 120,000 men in the open division who did all 3 of these workouts with the same, it's the same workout prescribed as same weights, same reps, all that stuff. And out of 120,000, took 820th. Pretty darn good. That's in the world. If you go to America, I believe I was 308th, I want to say. And then if you break America into 2, which is how they do it, there's a North America West region and a North America East region. You can find me sitting in 125th place in North America West. So, we're knocking on the door of top 100 of our half of the country. We'll take that. We'll take that. The first and third workouts individually, my scores in the world, 300, 700. Those are my 2 best scores ever in any open workout. The one that was my bad score this year was my 4th ever best. So 3 of my top 4 performances in individual workouts all time, and we did what we needed to do. It was really, really fun to see the work pay off. And again, we've been talking about this. Like, not only have we seen it pay off here, we did 2 competitions where we were able to hang with some big boys, right? It live setting, right? Small sample size, but we can hang. We've done a couple qualifiers where several of my qualifying times I'm able to hang. I'm testing, daily in the gym with just random workouts and training and random lifts and numbers that I've never hit before and are creeping and crawling up towards what I know to be on the borderline of elite in this sport. And so confidence is high. It's been paying off. Everything I've been doing has been paying off. We've stayed healthy. We've done all the right things. And not to ramble anymore about it, but this is a goal that is really 13 years old. It was never really pursued until 2021, late 2021. August/September of 2021 was when I was finally in a spot where schedule-wise, I had time to train for it. Motivation-wise, I was interested in trying to get better in a competitive way of CrossFit, and I had the ability to do it gym equipment-wise at home, schedule, um, health, like everything lined up in 2021, essentially 3 years after I graduated college and moved. I wish I would have done it immediately, but we were trying to figure out and settle in on life a little bit for 3 years. In 2021, that fall, we really started trying. 2022, Open was the first time we were like, "Hey, let's see where we really match up against the world here." And it's been a journey. For a very, very long time, those that are familiar with the Midwest, North Central region, all the way back in 2013, when I first went to the University of Iowa, we had a trainer, a PT student slash trainer at the time with the football team. His name is Dylan Martin, who was elite at CrossFit. Still probably is if he were to do these workouts. Perennial semifinal guy, right there. A year after I found CrossFit, and all of a sudden, this guy is a semifinal athlete. Like he's right there every day in the same facility, walking into the same halls as me. I thought Dylan was I still think he is. He's, legit savage, and I could never understand, like, "Man, what does he have that I don't? How does he do these workouts so fast? What is?" And he was just there. Like, he had figured it out. He had a little bit more of a CrossFit base than I did, but he had the strength as well. And this guy, Dylan, he made the North Central Regional, which then turned into semifinals or sanctionals up through, like, 2018, 2019. Like, 6 or 7 straight years, he competed at the semifinal level. And that was always the dream since I found this as a sport, not as a methodology, but as a sport in 2012 when I first saw like the 2012 regionals of like Dan Bailey and Rich Froning and the legends of the sport. I was like, God, fuck, that looks cool. I want to do that. Am I good enough? Could I ever get to a level? And mentally, I thought that I never could. For a very, very long time, I just thought I don't have what it takes genetically. I was not born with what it takes to make it to any sort of elite level. Like, not even close. I will never finish near the top of the open leaderboard, never in the top 1,000. I'd be lucky to crack the top 5,000, right? So the things I'm doing now are the product of patience, consistency, maybe over anything, just a passion for getting better and like chasing the greats because I just love the sport of CrossFit. So that certainly provides a good foundation to keep doing this every fucking day and year. Because I'm not getting anything out of it. I'm not making money doing this. I'm spending way too much time. Over 50% of my days I'm sore or beat up or recovering or just like dead from training workouts. Um, I'm not ever going to be a games athlete. Like I'm never going to get paid by sponsors or anybody to do this. So it really is the love of the game here. And 13 years later, after finding the sport of CrossFit, I am a semi-finalist athlete, technically. Not the way I wanted it to happen. Trust me, I wish it was the old days and I would have qualified to a North Central regional and I was, booking my flight and my hotel to Chicago, Illinois right now to compete in that convention center on the Navy Pier against 30 or 40 other dudes in person. I would really feel like a semifinalist if that was the case. But it's not. The seasons and the season structure has changed over the last decade, and this is where we're at. Um, I'll take it. I'll take it. I have a lot of hope and motivation for next year already because if I'm here right now, what could another year do? The best in this sport, even some of the legends who have gotten older and maintain their fitness are still able to do this 34, 35, couple or 36, 37, and they're crushing, they still place top 500 in the open. They're still proving that you can be top couple hundred in the open. You could qualify for the semifinal level. Maybe not be at the tippy top of the sport, but qualify for the semifinal level. Um, well into your mid to later 30s. So if I want it, it's there. My runway is still, even 4 years of runway is till when I'm 34, 4 years from this moment. It's there. I have a lot of ways to get better. Will I want to do that? Second kid coming in 8 weeks, all these things, who knows? But the opportunity is there if I want it. And to get a taste of it in some way to be a semifinals athlete this year is pretty damn sweet. Pretty damn sweet. Um, it's cool to see things pay off. It's also cool just outside of the sport to just be as physically capable as I am. Quite literally in life, like whether I have to like play with my kid or get something down out of the garage storage or like lift something, carry something up or down the stairs, like help a friend. I do whatever. I feel like a fucking beast. Like you should all try fitness. It's great. Being fit is amazing. Um, what does this mean? Uh, Forgot to mention at the top too. I kind of said it, but the reason I did not podcast last week is one, we were getting back from that little Kansas City short getaway on Tuesday afternoon into Wednesday. I had a bunch of stuff to catch up on, and it wasn't official, right? This leaderboard just goes, and then like, eventually here in the next couple weeks, like we should be getting an email like, hey, you qualified top 1%. Still haven't gotten that email yet, but when I do get that email, we've we've moved on. There's another there's another round here. My season is not ending, as I may have alluded to in some podcasts about a month ago. Two ways for semifinals to happen this year. There are four events taking place in North America, two on the East and two on the West. So I would technically have an opportunity to go to any of those. However, the invites or qualification processes for those have already happened. Slash, I did not place high enough on the open leaderboard in the North American West to get an auto invite. I didn't even place nearly high enough to like have dozens of people decline their invite and me get like some weird backfill. So I will be doing the secondary option for those within the top 1200, and that is the online in affiliate semifinals, which provides a whole new challenge because now I have to find an affiliate that's actually affiliated and has two judges registered, and I can whole other host of problems. But I will be able to do it online over the course of 4 days, Thursday through Sunday. It'll likely be, somewhere between 4 and 6 total tests. I would guess it's 4 or 5 tests, and we'll see where I rank in the semifinals. Um, that is basically from this day today. 5 weeks from today, we'll be saying tomorrow starts. So I have 5 weeks of training from the 26th till the 31st of March. Yeah, I got 5 weeks from right now. First week, first 3 days, I'm about to go work out after this, second session of the day. This will be my 3rd day in a row of 2 days. It's going great. My body's beat up, but we're doing some legitimate, like, advanced training. Things we're preparing for to see that we didn't in the open, that we will in semis is likely some rope climb variation, GHD sit-ups, toes to bar did not come up in the open. That will show up. Heavier weights will show up in some form or fashion. Potentially ring muscle ups will show up. Those didn't show up in the open. Definitely rope climbs, definitely GHDs, potentially pistols. So a bunch of things that we're practicing and trying to get down and build more volume into. It's cool. I'm like, oh, we're moving on, and now we have to like peak for the next stage, which I've never gotten to do before, which means new things. It's all very fun. Uh, I will say this, and this is probably just because of the circumstance, but again, mentioned it in about 8 weeks. In 5 weeks from now, we'll be staring ahead at the semifinal weekend. In about 7 to 8 weeks from now, we'll basically be just waiting for labor to happen for my wife and us having our second child. And knowing that that's coming, getting the house ready, getting the nursery ready, preparing to have a second child, all of that is starting to weigh on me. And I can tell that in 5 weeks, 5.5 weeks, when I'm done with the semifinals weekend, I am going to be very, very ready and excited to not be training twice a day for 2 to 3 hours a day for at least some time. I will be 100% ready for a break. Um, Still will work out every day. It will not be nearly as intense or volume filled for at least a month, probably closer to 2 or 3 months through the summer as we kind of acclimate to being a family of four and just figuring out life that, in that circumstance. So, very excited to I'm not sick of it yet because I'm actually very much so enjoying what we're doing right now, being in peak shape. And I am excited to around 5 weeks from now get like a DEXA scan, um, and kind of get an update where I physically am in my most peak shape of my life. After that, I can already tell that by that point, I will be ready to fucking stop doing any of this. I will be sick of it. So we'll get to there when it comes, but for right now, we are head down, grinding out semifinals training, trying to be the fittest we've ever been, and so far we're succeeding in that. Um, and then we'll be back around to where we are every year. Like, hey, what does the next year look like? Am I gonna go for this again? Am I gonna try and get better? What am I gonna do? All these things. So fun stuff. Um, in other news, I kind of structure these podcasts with my CrossFit stuff, any nerdy hobbies that I have picked up or gotten into, and any disc golf updates. Well, the disc golf update is I will be going to play my first official full round of disc golf on Friday, 2 days from now. It's supposed to be very nice. 50, 60, 70 degrees these days, towards the afternoon. I will have time. I will not have any work. I'm going to go over to old Centennial Park, the home course, and play 12 holes and sling some discs for the first time, some that I haven't thrown yet in full flights. And really, first time I've had like a legit full bag that I feel good about. So that's fun. And already looking forward to playing more disc golf and trying to get better at that sport, that hobby sport, this spring and summer into the fall. Maybe play a couple tournaments. We've mentioned that. And then recently, the thing that's been taking up way too much of my time for what it is I downloaded. I'm telling you, 10-year-old Tyler would fucking freak out over this. You had to have like a Game Boy and all the cartridges when you wanted to play Pokemon 20 years ago, right? And then you had to buy the new Game Boy because the Game Boy went to the Game Boy Advance and then the Game Boy SP and then you had the Nintendo DS and then nowadays you got the Switch. You got to have all the fucking things. You don't need any of it. You just have a cell phone, you download an emulator and a ROM, all the ROMs off the internet, and bada bing, bada boom, you just have all the Pokemon games for free. You can just play them right on your fucking phone. It's unbelievable. Not only that, but you can play with it has like an internal like speed up mode, so you can run twice as fast. It doesn't take nearly as long to walk places, go and heal your Poke. I mean, anybody who loves Pokemon, this shit is insane. I've been playing like 90 minutes to 2 hours a night when we put the kid down and we just sitting there watching TV, and then as we get into bed and kind of before we fall asleep, it's fucking unbelievable. 6 hours into an Emerald run right now. I'm having the time of my life. Pokemon emulator. Get you some. We'll update you next week on the training and if I'm still alive. Talk then.